Pushing a modern leader bike to the edge requires total commitment. At these speeds, you are managing the absolute limits of physical grip, trusting the suspension and chassis to keep you off the pavement. Yamaha has been refining this threshold for decades. Back in 2002, they made a significant jump with the introduction of fuel injection and the highly rigid Delta Box 3 aluminum frame. That architecture set a standard for cornering stability. Then came the 2020 overhaul. Yamaha perfected the 998cc CP4 engine and introduced a suite of MotoGP-derived electronics. It was a major software evolution that gave riders a sophisticated safety net at extreme lean angles. This chart maps out that development timeline, and it reveals a harsh reality. After that spike in engineering in 2020, the line flatlines perfectly straight through 2023, 2025, and into 2026. Aside from minor aesthetics, there have been zero mechanical changes in over 5 years. With stagnant hardware, buying a new R1 is no longer a question of securing better performance. It is strictly a question of how effectively you want to allocate your capital. Look through any community forum or Reddit thread, and you'll see the exact same logic loop. Riders are agonizing over whether to wait for a 2026 model, pick up a 2025 off the showroom floor, or hunt down a used model. The price gap across this single generation is significant. You have a brand new standard R1 starting at $17,999 and sitting right next to it, the R1M commanding $22,799. On paper, that extra $4,800 buys you an electronic Öhlins suspension, carbon fiber bodywork, and an integrated telemetry system. It is incredibly easy to fall into the psychological trap of wanting the top-tier badge. The M designation implies you are getting the definitive Superbike experience. But to avoid burning thousands of dollars, you have to put the spec sheets away. You need to evaluate the reality of where and how you ride against what this platform actually requires to function. Let's start with the mechanical baseline. Every single R1 produced since 2020 is built around the same 998cc CP4 crossplane engine bolted into that Delta Box frame. That combination delivers 198 horsepower and a linear torque perf, all wrapped in a chassis built specifically to handle the structural stress of professional racing slicks. This animated wireframe shows exactly how the bike keeps you upright. The 6-axis IMU sits at the center, calculating pitch, roll, and yaw 125 times per second. It communicates constantly with the ECU to manage rear wheel slide, front wheel lift, and engine braking. But exploiting that system on the street comes with direct compromises. You're dealing with punishing ergonomics, extreme engine heat and traffic, and the fact that dialing in these parameters only matters when you push the bike past second gear, something you can only do safely on a closed circuit. If your weekend consists strictly of canyon carving or highway pulls, you are already paying for baseline structural performance and safety algorithms that you will rarely, if ever, activate. So if the baseline is already overkill, we have to look at what the R1M brings to the table. The largest physical difference is the Öhlins electronic racing suspension, specifically the gas-charged NPX front fork. Instead of requiring manual clicker adjustments, this system talks directly to the IMU. If you grab a handful of front brake at 140 miles per hour, the computer instantly stiffens the forks to prevent the bike from diving. The M also drops weight by replacing the standard plastic fairings with full carbon fiber bodywork, giving it a clearer factory racer aesthetic. But track days carry risk, and eventually, crashes happen. Replacing shattered carbon fiber and electronic Öhlins forks is significantly more expensive than swapping out standard KYB suspension and plastic fairings. The Öhlins suspension enables higher performance thresholds, but it is strictly reserved for riders willing to accept the increased financial liability of actually finding those limits. The final piece of the M Premium is digital. It comes equipped with a Communications Control Unit, or CCU. This module records factory-level GPS data, automatic lap timing, and course mapping, and then sends it all wirelessly directly to your phone. Between track sessions, you use this data to identify exactly where you are losing time. You can evaluate your corner entry speeds and tweak the slide control down to the individual percentage point for specific sectors of the track. On public roads, none of this matters. GPS lap timing and sector analysis offer zero practical value for a Sunday morning canyon ride. The CCU is a highly specific analytical tool. If you aren't the type of rider who uses spreadsheets to track your progression, paying the premium for the M badge is a poor use of funds. That leaves us with the final group of buyers, the riders who know they don't need the R1M, but still want a brand new 2025 or 2026 standard model. Walking into a dealership gets you 0 miles on the odometer, a full factory warranty, and exclusive current year aesthetics, like the Raven Black finish or the 70th anniversary livery. This line graph illustrates the financial reality of that choice. The value of a brand new 2026 model drops sharply over the first 3 years of ownership, while the price of a used 2021 model remains remarkably stable. Remember, that cheaper 2021 model features the exact same frame, the exact same IMU, and the exact same 198 horsepower engine as the bike rolling off the assembly line today. The raw dollar amount you save is essentially the price of a fresh coat of paint. Buying a new standard R1 means absorbing the steepest part of the depreciation curve entirely for cosmetic exclusivity and the peace of mind of a warranty. Choosing demands honesty about your primary use case. Riding street? Care about exclusive factory colors and warranties? Yes means new standard R1. No means use standard R1. Track riding? Analyzing telemetry to shave lap times? Yes means R1M. No means buy a used R1. This matrix proves a simple point. The most expensive bike on the showroom floor isn't universally the best bike. The best bike is the one optimized for your specific scenario. To summarize, the R1M exists for the dedicated track day optimizer. It is built for riders willing to use telemetry data to extract the final 5% of performance from the chassis. The new standard R1 is for the aesthetics-driven buyer. If you place a premium on factory warranties, 0 miles, and unique year-specific liveries, it fulfills that role perfectly. But for the pragmatic upgrader, the smartest play is finding a well-maintained 2021 to 2023 standard model. You get the exact same elite racing DNA and modern electronics, keeping thousands of dollars in your pocket for fresh tires and track time. The Yamaha R1 remains a benchmark for supersport capability. Maximizing its value just requires buying the right tool for your specific ride.